Here we go. Previously in the GodBreaking, our party, having just escaped the abyss and secured the transition of power from the dying goddess Mistra, were exhausted and wounded and spent about 4 days recuperating from their wounds within one of the chapels inside Mistrala. And after those multiple days of recovery, they still bared scars from the wounds. They decided to set off to see what comes next. Some of the things that they learned was that Headmaster Aaron is no longer in power. So the council is deciding to meet and choose a new headmaster of Mistrala. The party shopped around a bit, looking for various magical items and store that kind of stuff. 1 second here. Okay, I'm just checking to make sure my recording is going well. Alright. The party shopped around in Mistrala for a bit, but were unable to really secure anything of substance. They visited the librarian. He didn't really give them anything. Otto, the shopkeeper gnome, didn't really give them anything. So Elwyn, Feldorn, and Albrecht decided to break the travel embargo that Mistrala had in place and teleported to Westfane. And there they encountered Caliota Cecile, the owner of the magic shop in Westfane, in a state of disarray as she was packing up her shop and getting ready to leave. You guys, the guys there decided to buy some things from her and helped her pack up her shop while they secured some final special magic requests from her. That's where we left off, right there. Ashok, you're rejoining us, and we'll get to your character in a little bit, but in the meantime, I need you to level yourself up to level 19. Okay? If you have any questions, go ahead and type them out or something, and I should be able to get you. I think all the required stuff is available to you guys. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me? You good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Ashok? Check, check. Ashok?
Chuck, you there?
Uh,
He might be muted.
he's not muted. Alright, we'll figure that out.
So am I able to go to Caliota real quick one more time and ask her about one final magic item?
Sure, let's sort of set up in the morning. So you guys are split into two different places. Most of the party,
Okay.
half of you guys are in... Oh, there you go. I hear you. Half of you guys are still in Mistrala. The other half are in Westfane. Albrecht, since Elwyn and Feldorn are not playing here tonight, you're going to have to play for the whole party over there. Okay? Let's start off the morning of the next day. Renly, Euphemia, and Deimos, you guys are in Mistrala. You wake up in the morning, and you realize that this is the day that the council is set to meet. It's at the noon hour. They're going to meet. What do you guys want to do? You got about 3 or 4 hours between now and then.
I think we should probably go meet.
So, we know that who were the ones that were running again? I'm sorry, I forgot who was running.
Okay. There are 3 candidates right now. There is Rumen, the Master of Illusion. There is Tycho, Instructor of Astrology. And there is Wenlisa, Head of Alchemy. those are the 3 candidates up for headmaster right now.
Shouldn't we go talk to Blackbolt and make sure that he is willing to run?
Yeah, that would be good if before we nominate him to know if Teleforce is actually interested in this mantle.
That's true. Also, just to throw it out there, obviously up to you guys, but the cleric dude, the only reason I'm saying that is because he can probably help Mistral. They seem like they had a problem with God stuff before.
Liam, yeah.
Well, I think the point of this is so that we can have the mages help us in the fight that's to come. And Blackbolt is the only one that's going to be able to...
Yeah, I totally agree with that then.
I'm actually curious about what Room, Tycho, and Manissa could bring to the table as headmasters. Like, what is their platform that they're campaigning on?
Okay.
Didn't... When someone told us, I thought that those were all very traditional headmasters, and they were gonna... All of them had the
Yeah,
whole
but I think
substance.
the reason we were going for Teleforce is because he would have interest in the war effort, but I'm sure that they would bring something else as well. And Randy is kind of interested in not having a single person be in charge. Like, based on what we could tell from
A
Headmaster
council?
Aaron, yeah, it's sort of like, if you have a headmaster, have assistants or somebody to help them, like the mage.
Also, like the deans. You got the head, then you got the deans. But if all
Exactly.
together,
And because
like,
I'm
yeah.
sure if Teleforce ends up being in charge of the war effort, other things will kind of fall to the side. So having more than one person to be in charge of policy might be something we might be interested in.
That's going to be about changing the whole policy of this whole city, which...
Yeah, but it is the council, so it might be something worth mentioning to them, but it might depend on what these 3 can bring to the table in the first place.
Okay.
I agree with you. It's a good idea.
Okay. What would you like to do? You have anyone you would like to talk to?
I think Blackbolt would still be the first.
Yeah,
Okay.
we should probably
So-
check with Teleforce first.
Okay. How you doing over there, Ashok? Can you hear us? Not yet.
Should we just go back to DC?
Well, it's not going to matter. His problem is a problem with microphone and computer.
No.
He should be all set for next week, hopefully. All right. You guys make your way around town. You pass by some bread carts along the way and grab some breakfast. It's a very curious city. There's a variety now that things are fairly calm and you're able to really look around. There is a good deal of destruction in the city. A lot of the buildings and stuff were destroyed, but like I said, the mages are very quick with their magical abilities at rebuilding, so their construction projects are progressing very rapidly. But you do see all sorts of weird magical creatures, fairies darting everywhere. A lot of the animated plants that Renly and her department are responsible for they go along. They're helpers. They're companions. They move around just like just helping the citizens and that kind of thing. They're also, like I said, the primary law enforcement race, but also just the race has become part of the culture of Mistrala are the Minotaurs. So you see a fair number of them around. And then beyond that, just a very general melting pot of all kinds of creatures and races throughout the city. Making your way around, you head, Renly, you head in the direction that Telephos's personal, for lack of a better word, domestic place, his residence is. And you go there, and as you encounter a front gate that's closed, as you approach it, it just on its own just magically begins to open. It's a fairly open iron gate, spacious, more decorative than functional, and it just begins to slide open, swing open as you guys approach.
I hurry on over to the door and rap it with my stick. I wasn't sure if Euphemia and Deimos would both join or if one of them wanted to go see Liam.
Okay. As you get there, you find that the whole house is more. There are no doors. It's all kind of open. There's open windows, there's open doors, and that kind of thing. But there's a lot of room for air to flow through. It's almost yeah,
Oh,
and it's almost like a pavilion. The on the back side of the house, you see that there's actually one of the walls is missing entirely. It's been designed to be very open.
nice. Okay.
And as you enter that area, you see Telephos seated cross-legged in like a meditation pose, but hovering about 3 feet off the ground, just staring off in the direction of the rising sun. Um,
Do we notice like if Ava is around, or
she is not.
I clear my throat, then I go and kind of like wrap my stick on the floor as the impromptu knock.
Okay. Telephos turns to you all. After a brief pause, as you wrap, it's like he's finishing up a thought, and he rotates around, looks at you all, and nods, a hint of a smile coming to his face. And still floating in the air, he removes himself from his meditation pose, and he just kind of sets down to the ground very lightly. And he walks up to you, and he waves a hand, and you guys hear wind whisper through all your ears. Um, him saying, just it's like it's not his voice, but it's like the wind itself is vibrating and resonating, and he's controlling the air around you to form words. It sounds something to the effect of, "Good morning, Renly and company. How are you today?"
Morning, Delvos. It is a good morning, but we have some points of concern regarding the council meeting and election of the new head. We wanted to perhaps ask your opinion on a certain matter. I turn towards Euphemia and Demos as I see this.
He nods.
I say you should run. President.
He tilts his head a little bit, and he looks at you, his eyes kind of inquisitive. And you guys hear the wind whispering to you all, and he dusts some of the dirt, like the accumulated dust on his robe and his trousers off. And you hear it whisper through the air. It says, "I know that the council is meeting today to appoint a new headmaster. But, as is expected, I am not a part of those proceedings, nor do I have interest in whatever pompous academic they choose to run this place."
Oh, I got this one. I'm charismatic as fuck, so I'd just be like, "Hey, dude, if you're the headmaster, you can talk to your like quote unquote girlfriend all the time."
I face
You know that
palm.
the war. You know the
Amos
war is coming.
Super charismatic. He's the best speaker of all.
He looks at you, Euphemia, he says, "Indeed, I know the war. I have my hands covered in blood of the war effort itself. Danger."
Well, then you know the city needs to take a more active role into saving the whole realm.
He says, "That would be a change for certain."
And unfortunately, you being the head is the only way it's going to happen. Though, Renly had a great idea that maybe a council should be put in place of a headmaster. 3 people to run things in different ways.
He,
I mean,
he okay, go on.
if you're headmaster, there would be a lot of changes. But if the council doesn't quite reach that agreement, perhaps you could be involved towards war effort on a more official stead, such as, a dean of warfare or martial efforts, and that way we can try to influence policy regarding the war effort.
He looks curious. He says, "'Tis an interesting concept you have. Such a thing has never been done before in the history of Mistrala."
I worry about Mistrala because no, even if you were to hide in a cave somewhere in the forest, if the forest is on fire, you're not going to survive it in that cave. And right now, if an academic is in charge, the war is going to come to Mistrala, even if the Mistrala doesn't come to it.
The demons
So-
already attacked, and they
Exactly.
almost
The
won.
you were the only one in the way to help, so we need somebody strong. But if you were in charge, perhaps there would be concerns of perhaps the academy and the economy. So maybe more than one person would be stronger than just single individual.
He says, I have seen the weakness of our tradition all around. Out in the world I ventured and saw the evils, and as you have said, the evils have come here now. The wind begins to pick up a little bit, and in a stronger voice now. You hear Telephos' thoughts kind of just resonating in your ears. He says, I will do this thing that you ask, for the good of Mistrala, for the good of this world.
So you agree on creating a new council to replace the headmaster?
If that is what the council will agree to.
I'm sure they will. We're bigger than that.
What if they don't?
He
We
says,
will try our best.
if they do not, then I will take whatever mages will follow me and go out into the world to defend this city and to defend the people of this land. I will do it by myself if that is all who will come.
That would be the worst case scenario. Just
Yeah.
so you understand.
I agree.
You'll be sweet, guys.
We will try and see if we can get this to work. But thank you.
He says, I will be in attendance at the council meeting.
Do we
Alright.
need a invite for that?
Renly is invited. And you guys can accompany
And-
her.
Okay.
He says, do what you must. I wish you the best in your planning.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Do you have a suggestion on what we should do to make our plans come to fruition?
He thinks for a second. Of the 3 nominees, he says, Rumen is the one to watch for. He will most resist this change.
Well, a council is best of 3. We have you and 2 more. We don't need him.
A good observation.
A triad of sorts, yes.
Vote for Deimos.
Not including Deimos, of course.
Okay.
Okay, we take our leave. I thank him again. I keep thanking him, but yes.
He nods. Alright. Good. Let's pause it there. Ashok, how are you doing as far as volume goes? Okay, you can hear us, just can't talk, right? Okay. Alright, we'll do what we can with text then, with typing.
Discord things such as the right microphone option.
He's trying to use his phone as the microphone, and his computer as the
Is he
speakers
using-
or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, you gotta go straight through the phone. Yeah.
Okay. So get yourself leveled up to 19, Ashok. Level 19. Albric, let's jump over to you. You are in West Fane. It is the next morning. You awaken. Feldorn and Elwyn are completely exhausted after having spent the whole night working. Feldorn in particular looks visibly worse for the wear. It seems like he didn't get any rest at all. He's lying in bed. His eyes look sunken. His face, the skin on his face looks a little gaunt. But he doesn't really want to talk. He just kind of turns over in bed and just rolls over.
Yeah.
So Albrecht, it is around 11 a.m. What would you like to do?
I'm going to catch Caliota as early in the morning as possible.
So it's almost noon because you guys were there up until like 6 or 7 a.m. and then you just went and crashed for a few hours and you came back. Okay, you head back to her shop and you notice that for the first time her doors are open in the middle of the day. She is there just putting some finishing touches on the packing and the label, and she's labeling various boxes and items and packages, that kind of thing. She notices you come in.
I ask her. I'm looking for a new great sword. She had a particular great sword known as Defender.
Roll a d20. Alright, so that's right on the line there. Here. Let me just do this. Okay. She looks at you inquisitively, and she says, I am not an armory, per se, and do not dabble in weapons the great majority of the time. But I am familiar with this enchantment that you speak of. It could be within my power to perhaps craft that particular ability, if that is what you seek.
It is, but I was wondering if the ability could be changed to, instead of during my attack, I make the decision to increase my AC, and I could use my reaction to increase my AC, and then my next hit would suffer the negative.
She says, you are speaking of a high-level enchantment. The Defender attribute is in itself very complex and very powerful. To alter it in such a way would take time.
Very broke right now.
She
I'm
looks
very
around.
broke.
Yeah. She says, time which I do not have at the moment, unfortunately.
Would it be how much less of a time would it be to do the Defender enchantment as is? Would it be would you be able to do that as is within the next couple of days?
She says, I will not be here in the next couple of days. I am leaving this afternoon.
Well, when you get to a new place where you are settling down, shoot Feldorn a message on the sending paper that you gave him, because I would very much like to discuss the great sword of such a variety with the enchantment.
Okay. She nods. She says, I will have to put some thought into that one. I have not dabbled in that enchantment field myself, not recently. It will take some creativity, but I will, perhaps when I have time, put it on my list of things to do.
Thank you very much.
She nods. Thank you for the good work you have done here. I have completed the requests that you had for me. I think Feldorn had a fake golden
fake
moat. Yeah, that he wanted made. So she shows it to you guys. It is identical in every way to the actual thing. She says, particularly proud of this one. I even went so far as to put a low-level enchantment upon it to mimic a much powerful ability. It of course is completely powerless, but under anything but the most insightful person, most people will see it as a very powerful enchantment. What was the other thing that you guys wanted her to do? I think Elwin said he wanted something. Shit, I forget.
Ah, fuck. He did say something.
Well,
Um,
I forgot. Now, would
I
you
do
by any
ask her
chance-
about I do ask her about Deimos rings. She wants a ring of protection +2 or greater.
If she doesn't have it, it's no big deal. I know Deimos gave her a ring of protection and some cash just to research it. He didn't really
roll
care
a
if she had it
d10.
done or
Roll a
not.
d20, Deimos. Okay. She says, "You are in luck. I was able to acquire an enhanced protection spell. I am not able to weave these myself. They are very complex, very powerful, and very rare. And I was able to apply it to the ring that Deimos supplied to me. It will, however, require an additional investment of gold, as this was very expensive."
I pull out Deimos' handy dandy Caliota credit card.
Yep. Actually, does Deimos actually recur points on this?
On your card?
Yeah.
She says,
good.
"Of course, but of course, to be paid in other perks. Deimos may
okay.
feel free to cash in those points at his leisure. With me personally."
Deimos, like, across the country has, like, some shivers, like, just go down his back.
Alright, Deimos, so did you paid for half of Albrecht? You bought something, right? Who bought something? Yeah, the Belt of Cloud Giant Strength.
Belt. Yeah, and I had Deimos help pay for that. And this
Deimos-
is purely Deimos' item, so if she doesn't accept the credit card, Deimos, I'm sorry, you're straight out of luck.
That's fine. Deimos has 166 platinum and 16,092 gold pieces.
Okay, so it'll be another 10,000 on top of what you gave her the first time.
All right, I will subtract that then.
Okay. Um.
Or orders from Renly or Euphemia.
I didn't actually have any orders as such.
I was basically looking for strength belt or improvements to whatever I have, but I didn't mention them.
I thank her for her help with the greatsword. I tell her Deimos is looking forward to their next meeting, and then I head off to the king.
Okay. So Albrecht, in your inventory, I'm adding a second ring of protection +2. Okay, so you can give one to Deimos later.
And otherwise, the two things that Elwin ordered, we'll just put on our character sheets. You'll just take care of that then.
Yes, I don't remember what Elwin wanted, so. Alright, but he can tell me later. Alright.
Next week problem, right?
Alright, what else are you doing today?
I was going to go head to the king to warn him and see what information he knows about an impending attack.
Alright, so let's hold it at that point. Heading back to Mistrala, you guys, it is now about the noon hour. You guys make your way to the Silver Spire. And on the outside, business seems as usual. On the inside of the spire, there's a low-level nervousness amongst all the workers and the servants and the students as they go about their business. It's almost like when you're at a workplace, and everyone knows that the boss is coming, so everyone is like on their best behavior, and actually like working and cleaning up stuff. Because the boss could pop in at any time. So everyone just seems kind of nervous because the council is meeting and there's like who's going to be chosen as the next headmaster. I hear this, I hear that. If it's Tycho, the head of astrology, oh man, what's going to happen when he gets in charge? This whole place will go to shit. And there's all this like nervous tension going on. You guys make your way up several levels to a large meeting area, a large meeting hall, and there in chairs spread out through the room is the council. Renly, you identify many of the council members. They are well-respected instructors. They are powerful magi of various stature and various reputation.
In the couple of hours we had before the council, I just wanted to ask one quick thing. And what do Tycho and Winlisa, what are they well known for? What particular things are they very well suited towards?
Okay. Let's see here. So you know Tycho and Winlisa as Tycho himself is a dwarf. He is kind of a he's pretty aloof. He's like a head in the clouds kind of guy, always gazing at the stars, talking in abstract concepts. Has kind of trouble stringing together just very very intelligent, very far-seeing, very basically his mind's in the clouds so much that sometimes he ignores the simple stuff on around
I
him.
get it.
You know, um, this is what Tycho looks like.
Alrighty. Oh, he's adorable.
When Lisa is all business, she is almost she is known for being driven, kind of like emotionless almost, cold, unavailable. She's brilliant in her field, capable of great alchemical feats, but has also experienced a number of failures. Her hands have been scarred because of mishaps with alchemy in the past, especially when she was younger and less accomplished than she is now. But she's highly respected. But like I said, pretty cold and calculating, but definitely with a lot of capacity and drive for what she can do.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Thanks.
So that's what that's how you kind of know them. All right. So you guys are in the council chamber, or heading to the council chamber. The way it's laid out, there are chairs kind of set up like this with each of the council members. There are 12 council members, all, like I said, of various importance and reputation in the society of Mistrala. Okay, and they're set up in this kind of spacious oval, and all around the outside of the circle, there are students and there are attendants and people packed into this place. So there's 70 or 80 people within the room itself. In the center of the room is this large open discourse area. All these little boxes that you are chairs that kind of face the center, pretty and ornate, and there's individuals sitting in each chair. One of them, in one of the chairs, is your friend Sir Gotinin. Okay. As you guys enter, the meeting has just begun. You hear a few of them exchanging words about the brilliance of Wenlisa and how her accomplishments in alchemy have been unparalleled in this generation, and how it would take a calculating, emotionless intellect to lead Mistrala on into the next phase, the next era of the world. Another seasoned council member stands up and makes an argument for Tycho, saying that that her lack of emotion and her intelligence mean nothing when she cannot see and when she has no knowledge of what's beyond the walls, whereas Tycho has seen through the stars and can see into the weeks and the years ahead, and he knows the alignment of the celestials, and he can guide Mistrala in a way that no one has ever been able to before. So that's the kind of stuff that's going on. There's just basically a big debate going on.
I will try to make myself heard, and I do not know if there's a place you stand for a speech or whether you just stand up in place. But as I attempt to do this, I will also look towards Sir Gotinin and give a little nod at him.
Okay. He is, we'll call it at this chair here, right? Not at the there's no head of the circle, but he's there. He's been kind of quiet, puffing on his pipe, a cup of hot tea next to him, and he sees you approach, and he kind of nods his head at you. And after a few minutes goes by, he kind of clears his throat. He says, "Respected colleagues, and of course, grand and powerful magi. Yes. Might I open the discussion to faculty and identified members of the Spire? I believe that some of them might have valuable input before we vote on the next headmaster." Then he looks around for a second. What was I going to say?
I raise a hand.
Oh, yes, Renly! Renly, come forward. Come forward.
Thank you, my friend.
And you hear some of the council members kind of looking at each other and whispering under their breath to some of their attendants. But one says, "We cede the floor to Instructor Renly of the Druidic Arts, as vouched for by Sia Kotinin. Please, Renly, keep it brief."
I will attempt to do so. Yes, let's see. My peers, I come with you with the proposal. All I can ask is that you listen with open ears. Tradition has led Mistrala to falling on the wayside, hoping that by isolating ourselves we can avoid the magic, the death, the disaster that plagues this land around us. We can see this has not worked. Demons have stood in the spire and destroyed our very city and hurt the ones we love. We cannot afford to keep hiding away. We cannot hide in a cave in the woods and hope that monsters leave us alone as we focus on our studies and our magic. We must take a stronger stand. We have very strong candidates for the position of headmaster. Tycho is second to none when it comes to academics, with much foresight. Lisa will bring much purpose and direction to Mistrala. I would also nominate Telephos as a candidate for leadership. Telephos, who stood against Clovis and is the only reason Mistrala's death did not lead to the fall of Mistrala. Without him, we would have fallen. But this is not a nomination for headmaster, however. Nominating a single leader leaves us troubled. One can only focus on so much on their own. As a triad, however, Mistrala would be stronger. Deans of war, scholarship, and economy to address the needs of Mistrala. It is a change, a very big change. But at one point, our plants had no vote, no representation. We as a council changed that. We can bring change here. Nominate not one, but 3. And nominate Telephos as one of them. Isolation will not help us survive. We need to work together. Thank you.
There's a hush for a second as people shift about uncomfortably. Kotinin, you glance his way, and he has a smile showing underneath his scraggly beard, and he winks at you.
I nod and try to find a seat.
There's some discussion around the room. One of the council members says, "This is an untold and unheard of concept before. It would mean a great change of our tradition." And he says, and another, a female voice from across the hall says, "Yes, but she speaks the truth. These times are unparalleled. There is no way that tradition can hold. Why would we seek to stand by that with which we are comfortable with, blindly, as we and this world fall into darkness and disaster?" So there's argument all going back and forth around. Then a single individual raises his hands and kind of like steps into the center of the circle there. Renly, you recognize him as Rumen, Archmage Rumen. He says, friends, he says, "let's not argue." Look at us around here, divided, conflicted. He says, surely we are better than this. We are the enlightened ones, we who see the path to the future. He says, there are some amongst us who would claim to have knowledge. There are some amongst us who would claim to have seen beyond these walls and have greater insight into where this land should head, the path we should venture down. But truly, what do they know? What do they know? How can their puny insight stand against 10,000 years of wisdom that is accumulated here in Mistrala?
How many
Is,
horsemen has 10,000 years of Mistrala killed?
Oh no, it's not.
He
Damos
says,
is like just looking at this guy. He's really confused on what he's talking about because he seems like a big old biatch. He's
he's,
asking a serious question, like with all honesty.
so you're shouting that out?
Yeah.
They all turn. He turns to you and he says, "You, I don't know who or what you are."
My name's Damos. This is my cat. These are my friends. We killed Clovis. You didn't.
And
do
we beat the
shit.
fuck out of your headmaster.
Whoa. What were you doing? I didn't see you there.
He says, "I would expect nothing else from outsiders. Primitive,
Well, I wouldn't say that.
barbaric."
I mean, your new god is like totally our friend. Actually, I believe I'm her uncle, which makes me like uncle god. Is it an elder god? Am I a super elder god now, guys? I don't know how that works.
He turns to the rest of the council and he says, "They prove my point. Look at them. Look at those who come in from the outdoors. They breathe violence.
Oh,
They
no.
bathe
I
themselves
love
in the blood of others.
That
They
makes
are
it
the
be just
furthest
not
thing from
sanitary.
enlightened."
I mean, I don't. It's some of that stuff's true, but I don't know about that blood stuff. That's kind of gross.
He says, and they would ask us to elevate one who is just like them to
Oh,
leadership.
No.
Telephos, he
Well-
of violence, he of disaster. No,
Well, what are you doing? You're just talking shit.
War is
I.
coming to this world.
Look at this
You're not
guy.
going to survive with your words and enlightened philosophy.
Yeah,
War
I'm
is
sure
the only
you're.
thing that's going to happen, and all of you are going to end up dead.
Yeah, you can get sued more for saying stuff than violence, you dumb asshole. You're probably worse than us.
He says, lies, rumors, fear mongering.
Really,
How about this? How
your
about this?
goddess is dead.
I will wrap my staff on the floor for a moment and
Whoa.
call
damn
out
us.
like, Rumen is correct
Shut up.
on one point. We are the enlightened ones, but Rumen, do you claim to know all the 10,000 years of knowledge in Mistrala? Can one individual claim to know all? Would not three prove to be stronger than one? Three of our own, not three outsiders. Telephos is one of us. We are all very different people. Some people disregard me, but we all bring something different to the table.
There's
As
some.
strange as Telephos is, he is still one of us.
They look around and he says, Telephos. Some of the council members now begin to speak in. Some of them say, hear what she has to say. Telephos is a great warrior, and he is knowledgeable and powerful above all else here. And another one says, he is dangerous. He is unpredictable. You seen what he does, defying the headmaster, heading out into the foreign world? Who
Which
knows
is
what
why
is...
we'd have two in check. Two other people to help Mistrala.
And one of the at this point, Kutinin says to you, and Renly, he says, who might I ask would you nominate? Who would be the three, in your humble opinion?
Based on what I know, I I was considering Tycho and Renitha. Tycho as Dean of Scholarship and Academics. Foresight is one of his strong suits. And Renitha for economics to keep the city strong. She has much purpose and focus that'll help Mistrala be stronger.
And Rumen he takes a step forward. He says, "And you would have me just be fit for the dogs, I suppose, Renly."
You are part of this council.
Offer him tenure. He'll shut up. Trust me, I know this. This is how universities work.
Is the council worth nothing to you? A seat at this table to talk, bring opinions.
He says, "No one here has the foresight. No one here has the depth of experience and power and vision that I have.
But alone you will fall,
I
as
should
we all do, alone.
I should be headmaster. I and I alone. I am the most fit. I am next in line. We all know that this nomination process is a sham."
It is not up to you, Roman. It is up to the council. And I look around.
Okay?
It is not about power. It is about responsibility, damn it.
Alright, Renly. Persuasion check with advantage.
Ah, shit. I have a +2. Okay. Uh, 17.
Okay. There's some murmuring and some talking around the room, and you hear them going back and forth. Kotinin has a big grin on his face as like the normally disciplined and attentive and respectful council is starting to like fall apart as people are getting emotional and people are shouting for tradition and order, and others are shouting out, "Change! We need change! This world is falling apart. We need change!" And it's all going up. And in the middle of all that, Rumen is standing there himself, steaming. You can see like almost just like him glaring at you, Renly, just like anger in his locked in his face.
Oh, hell.
After a few minutes of this, Kotinin is, you can tell he's just sipping tea and just having a blast, just watching and laughing, just chuckling to himself.
We put him as like the honorary dean. Most schools have honorary dean, just because he's just like some old dude who's hilarious.
After a few minutes, you can hear them say, "Telephos! Bring Telephos here! Let us hear what he has to say!" Okay, and Renly, you hear, because you're standing on outside of the ring. You feel someone like walk up behind you, right? And you feel a hand on your shoulder, and you turn and you see Telephos kind of kneeling down behind you, so his head is on kind of even level with you, and he makes eye contact with you. And he makes eye contact and he nods and he says, "Thank you, sister."
I nod and just tap him on the calf, which is about all I can reach.
He stands up, he walks to the center of the ring, and as he walks, you see an awkward situation where Rumen and Telephos are like, he passes by Rumen, and the two of them make eye contact and just like staring each other down as Telephos walks on. Rumen just like staring daggers at him, and Telephos just giving him like a prolonged side glance, but then just walking on very confidently towards the center of the ring. Kotinin says, "Well now, Telephos, what have you to say to us? Do you agree with Instructor Renly's argument?" Telephos looks around and he gestures with his hands, and stepping out from the edge of the circle, Ava steps forward and says, "Master Telephos, would like to share a few things with the council. He humbly suggests that we put our differences aside for now and hear the tales of the things he has seen. Telephos, waving his hand around in vague and grand gestures, um, begins to communicate, and Ava translates for him. She says, "In the world there are many dark and grand things, highest of heights, as well as deepest and darkest of and most vile of acts." She says, "We all know this. We know the weave better than any other, and we know the great lengths to which it stretches. But Telephos and I, and those who have accompanied us, and these here," and she points at you, Renly, and Deimos, and Euphemia. She says, "We have seen something like the likes of which history and this world have never seen before. You will not find its equal in any records, in any chronicles, or in any books." She says, "There are vast and powerful creatures in the world, and they have turned and coordinated for great evil. The gods are falling out of the sky. You all know that our own has fallen, and if it were not for the bravery of our visitors here, none of us would have any say in this at all." He says, "A creature has risen and has destroyed the dwarven capital of Vortum, a creature of monstrous and legendary terror. The Tarask is alive, and he thinks, and he connives, and he is in league with the dark forces." You hear people kind of muttering, and they hear some people say, "Falsehoods, rumors," but others
Wait.
say, "Go on."
Didn't it kill what's his name?
What?
The greater god of
Oh, Mojin?
shit. Yeah. Damon's just saying this out loud as he's thinking about it.
Um,
And he points at his armor that has Modron's signature on it. It's like, see, dude? Yeah, we know him, but he's dead now. That sucks.
Kutsinen raises his pipe and says, "The thick-headed one has a point."
What? Yeah, stuff.
Ava says, "To the north, in Rapnesh," she says, "suddenly a veil of darkness, impenetrable light, even beyond the vision of Kotinin and Master Tycho. Darkness falls there, and none can tell what happens inside. To the west," she says, "a beast, a monster of great size, his very nature shrouded in undeath, has destroyed and laid waste to the land of Waterdeep, that great bastion of human civilization."
Whitebeard?
Yeah.
Yeah, he must be beefing up.
Yes. "And to the south," she says, "turmoil. I know that some of you have heard rumors of what has been going on in Ezoa, of how he, the one of ages past, has arisen. She says, these are but a few. These are but the things that we see. Telephos would have Mistrala rise beyond its station, beyond its tradition, and be a pivotal part of this world. Help guide the races of this land to the future, to fight, to survive, to thrive. That is what Telephos asks. For if we do not fight as one, we will certainly all die separately. Okay? Rumens kind of steps forward and says, "Preposterous! Lies! All of it, lies!" Telephos just stands up and just stares at him, and you can feel the wind swirling around Telephos, right? And you hear kind of echoing throughout the room the whisper, and it says, "Watch yourself, Rumen. I do not lie."
Oh shit!
That
Rumen
was awesome.
Rumen
Told you
kind
I'd be
of
a bitch.
he falters for a little bit. You can see hesitation in his voice, and he says, "Foolishness, stupid foolishness." And he kind of like backs up, and he kind of just slinks off into the background. Okay, Kotinin just stands and says, "I believe time for oral dissertation is at an end. He says, if everyone who is not part of the 12 would kindly leave the room, it is time for us to make our final decision." He looks at you, Deimos, Euphemia, and Renly. He says, "Thank you. You have spoken well."
Thank you for your consideration.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, let's hold it there. Albrecht, we're going back to Westfane.
I'm here.
Alright, hundreds of miles to the south. At the same time, you finally woken Elwyn up, and Feldorin is still at home in bed. Elwyn and you kind of make your way towards the castle. With Elwyn's credentials and his station here as part of the advisory council to the king, he is given clear access. And as you walk in, you are issued to the king's throne room, and there you see King Reginald Haas. A little bit older than last time you saw him, a little bit more gray in his hair, just kind of speckled throughout
I've never
his
seen him
otherwise dark
before.
hair. Well, Elwyn has seen him before. And Elwyn will allow you to speak in this moment. He introduces you and that kind of thing, but you'll be doing the role playing. So, what do you want to say to the king?
Do you have any information about what is going on in the north, maybe close to the land of Azoa?
The king says, friend Alberic, we have not had the pleasure of meeting previously, but if you are a friend of Elwyn, then you are a friend of mine. And if you are indeed part of the royal guard, the renowned Sigmas of Vortum, then we know you are to be trusted. And we would certainly listen to your wisdom when it comes to that of warfare and strategy. He says, we have heard rumors. Caliota sent me a message of such a fortnight ago, speaking of grave danger, impending danger here in the city. He says, but my mages and my what do you call it? My military men have no inclination that what she says is true. Nothing can be seen, nothing can be heard. I have, however, in honor of her, sent several scouting forays to the north to investigate, but we have not yet heard from them. As such...
How long ago did you send them?
Says, just about 10 days past. Wait, hold on a second, let me think. No, actually, I gotta compress that time. This would have been about 5 days ago that Caliota notified him, and he sent out the scouts about 3 days ago.
How long does it take to get to Azoa?
Oh, that's at least by fast. Let's see here.
Okay, so they're fast and stealthy at the same time.
Okay, full speed on horseback to get to Azoa. That's 5 days travel time.
Oh, halfway. Or a little bit more. Okay. So no, the fact that they haven't returned yet is concerned.
Okay.
The meta game question. I would know this by asking Ellen. What is his relationship with like Caliota? Do they have a trusting relationship? Has she been trouble for him in the past?
For the king?
Type thing? Yeah, for the king.
No, she's been very trusted. She was instrumental in the defense of the city against the Slods. So she had like an honorary title or an honorary like they gave her like the keys to the city kind of thing, recognition for her accomplishments.
So he's taking her threat as seriously as an unwarranted threat.
Yeah. I mean, he because of her word, he sent scouts out. He actually consulted with his mages and his military, that kind of thing.
And how far away did Caliota say the danger was?
She didn't say. She just said soon, and she's leaving now.
Would do in this situation, but me personally, I feel that the best thing to do is to wait until the rest of the party can get here at whatever means necessary. So at some point in time, Elwyn teleports back and then teleports them here, and we just wait a couple of days, almost a week here, seeing if anything happens, and if nothing does, give the king some sort of way to message us if something does, but otherwise, dragons is our next priority. That's my logic.
Okay, so you're gonna try to go back to. Are you gonna try to teleport back to Mistrala?
Not today particularly, because I did get there was a message sent to me somehow that. Oh no, I was sleeping at the time.
So 2 things. The king can already contact us at any time.
Okay,
And
well, I didn't know
I
that.
like it how the DM said, "Are you going to try?"
I did say
Go
that, didn't
back
I?
today anyways. I'm not going to try to go back today because, one, I know that the travel ban still exists, or at least I think it is. And I know you guys are trying to work on changing the leadership so that the travel ban is no longer there. So I'm going to give it a day or two to see if it does.
Okay.
But otherwise, I will wait for some sort of... How did Renly try to contact us while I was sleeping?
Wind speak.
And speak, because I know she can do that.
I will be trying later on to try to connect again. So yeah, definitely.
And I'll go to bed at a normal time, so 10 o'clock-ish tonight, something like that, so that way I'm not sleeping during this time. She contacts me in the evening or the afternoon.
Okay.
Does anyone see any flaws in my logic that Elwyn would disagree with?
No,
I'm not sure.
pretty spot on.
I'm not sure if Ellen would wait. Because technically you don't know if you're going to be able to come back or not.
Yeah, you don't know anything about what's going on in Mistrala right now.
I know.
We really should get sending stones for each other.
You would at least try to contact us
It's like,
somehow.
yeah,
so.
we really should.
That would be worth the purchase.
Yeah, I
There
don't
is
know how we
try.
haven't gotten them yet.
Plus, technically, you weren't supposed to spend the night. You're supposed to come back like an hour later after you left.
Oh, true.
So you're already overdue.
Like, shit.
You okay, can I ask a question? Euphemia, you have teleportation magic, right?
Yep.
I'm going to see if I can use the Hasselin High Court Wizard or the Westvane High Court Wizard to send to cast the spell Sending to Euphemia.
So you head over to, and you head to a kind of a larger academic looking building. It's like a house / building residence. As you approach it, Elwyn says that if you wanted something magical done in West Vane, you have to go to this guy here. You approach and you hear from the outside, you hear sounds of how do you describe this? Heightened fucking.
I will wait 10 minutes.
Very
at
loud
that
scream,
point-
very loud female screams, and you hear an old voice breathing and laboring heavily.
I will wait no more than 10 minutes. At that point, I will go find a castle servant, and I will send him a knocking, even though the tents are rocking.
Okay. The guy knocks, and then that guy knocks, no answer.
I'll ask him to come get me when the tent has stopped rocking.
Okay. He's very good, sir. I will stand attention and notify you when the maester is no longer predisposed.
And as I walk away, I look behind me real quick again and kind of like glance him over, and I said, "And keep your nose clean." And I walk off.
Okay. All right. It takes Moltor Bennot another 45 minutes before he's done. But then the man comes and gets you. He says, "Yeah." So he comes out. He's wearing a kind of disheveled robe. He comes up to you. He says, "I know you, Elwyn. And who's this rather large-looking dwarven chap with you here?" Hello?
I was.
Hello? Hello?
I'm talking.
Yeah.
Okay. I introduced myself as Albric, Sigma 2 of the Dwarven people. Adventure member of Elwyn's adventuring party.
I see. How may I help you?
To cast sending to a friend of mine in Mistrala.
Of course not! What are you, adult? He says, "Nothing can get into Mistrala." Will there be anything else?
Nothing. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Does West Vane have carrier pigeons that can be increased in speed to get there within a couple of hours?
He says, "No, it's not possible." He says, "A bird can only fly." Say, "Are you talking about an unladen or a laden bird?"
You mean swallow?
Just a
Yes, of course, a swallow.
African or European. I get it. With just a simple note tied to his leg.
Oh my god.
He says, "Oh, I don't know." He says, "I suppose we could let one loose and find out." He says, "I'm a magician. I'm an academic, not a breeder of birds." And you hear a voice come from the room behind her. He says, "But you're certainly a breeder of some type." And he says,
That idea in my head as not possible, and does for that? No, I wouldn't know that. I don't have it on my kill track anymore. Sorry about that.
He says, "But yes, Mistrala has been sealed off for years. Don't you know this? Nothing gets in. No magic, and certainly no teleportation spells, no magic sending spells. In fact, no one can even enter into the city unless they are expressly invited."
I know. How did we enter the first time? Because I was actually gone for that session.
You walk through the gates.
Yeah, you crossed the border because you had an invitation from Akelia in the letter of introduction. The last time you guys remember after the only reason you were able to teleport in when you went and got Akelia that one time was because, I don't know if you guys remember, but you guys teleported out, Telephos came with you, and you asked her to teleport you guys back there so you can save Mistra, and she asked Telephos' help. The only reason even she was able to teleport you guys into Mistrala was because Telephos basically granted entry.
And I assume that letter is not on Ellen or Feldorn's position, and that's still probably with Deimos.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably. But you'd have to walk if you're doing that.
I know, I get that too.
So Renly, you can speak out, but they cannot speak back to you.
Exactly. Windspeak doesn't. They didn't have to know Windspeak to respond back.
Correct.
So it sounds like either way, if they don't show up, we'll have to go and get them.
Which
Yep.
we can't.
We can.
You can get out, you just can't go back.
Yeah. And I can figure out a way to get back, but we still need to go get them.
Is if the regime changed, like you guys said, shouldn't they open up the borders?
Yeah, but the regime has not changed.
Also, it depends on what type of enchantment it is. They might not be willing to remove it. Because they might not be able to change it.
Like, technically, we can teleport over, I can transport via trees to the border, and then we can wind walk into the city. Technically, if that works out, unless they have provisions against it. But,
That would
yeah.
still take a couple of months.
No, wind walk is a mile a minute. And transport via trees, so you would need to teleport over, transport via trees back to the border, wind walk in.
Okay.
Oh,
It'd still be several
About
days
a
of
day.
travel. It'd be quite a bit of travel.
I'm thinking. So can she win? Since she can win talk out, can we win talk in, or is that still protected?
No, nothing can get in.
Of course. Yeah, I'll just wait. I don't know what to do. Otherwise, you can go back to them. If I think of something, I'll let you know.
well, we would notice that they're not back yet. So, the question is, would Renly give us that information because we didn't know it?
Oh yeah, I would have told you, they didn't respond in the morning, I'll try again after lunch.
Why didn't you tell us before they left?
Hmm.
I should. I figured they'd be coming to the border.
They can't.
Teleport to the border and then walk. That's what they did to go.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But okay, so is the border of the actual Mistral land protected, or is it just the city walls?
It's the whole country. You cannot teleport into the country. Nothing
Okay.
can enter the country except
No,
physically.
but is,
What do we need the invitation for? The city walls or the border to the country?
You needed it for both.
Well,
That's where my plan actually failed last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so you can give them. So, you can still give them permission, right? Let's do it.
I'm not sure, I hope. Perhaps I could send them...
Can't you just go get them then?
That's what I'm thinking. This is my plan. And I basically explained this plan, which I pasted into chat.
Okay.
I'm not looking at chat.
And I think there's not a problem with your plan, but I think instead of transport via trees, border, we just ask Reader over here for either a teleportation scroll or to just cast teleport on us back to the border of Mistrala with your
That
help.
sounds good.
Does anyone know where Elwyn put his knife?
He put it inside
I-
the borders.
Okay, so it's not working.
We put
Yeah, he-
one inside the borders, and then
It was
Oh.
inside the borders. He can't get back
So
in
the-
either.
So would the question be, what would happen if he casts a teleport? Is it just not going to work, or
Yeah.
is something bad going to happen?
So if you ask that of Moltor Bendot, he will say, "Oh, it will simply
not
not
there.
work." Yeah. Or so at Renly, the spell would just simply not function.
So
Mhm.
Renly's still probably the best chance to go get them.
I mean, we can definitely
An
teleport
idea
out.
as
I've
well.
never been to the city, so I wouldn't know exactly where they might be. So we need to teleport out, and then
I
we
can
come
teleport
back.
you to. I can magic circle you out if you want.
That's what I was
That
thinking.
sounds
No,
perfect.
Euphemia, you should magic circle them into the city since you're familiar with the place, and then Renly should teleport back to Mistrala because she's familiar with Mistrala.
Well, I can teleport her without going. So if you want
do
to go
that.
to, yeah, I can do that. It's up to her.
Oh yeah, definitely go with it. I can't actually teleport, but I can transport via trees, which is the lower level spell slot. So that
Okay,
is
well.
an option. If someone else will do teleport from the city going back, then it's a win-win.
When she wants, I'll
Familiar enough with
teleport circle.
the borders of Mistrala that if you're given a scroll of teleportation, you can cast it and get
Oh
us
no,
there.
I don't think I have it as a druid spell. I don't have teleport. Like I can't. I literally cannot cast it.
Okay. Well, I'm not even supposed to be part of this conversation because I'm not there.
This is out of game.
I won't ask him that yet. But you should, if a mystical voice is going to whisper into your ear and telling you what to do, you should get Euphemia to transport you from Westvane, and then we can figure out how to get back from here.
Can you
Oh
hear
yes,
me?
definitely. Oh
Yes.
yes, hi. Yeah.
Hey, Jacques.
Yeah.
Your
I
phone's working.
interrupted you, sorry.
No, you're good. Okay, so you guys know what you're doing?
Yes. If we don't hear back from them, we Rene will anyway start to worry and be like, let's go and see what's up with them. So yeah.
Okay.
Whoever remains in Mistrala should still work on getting the Council of Three put in place and lowering, or at least making the defenses not invitation only.
Well, we need her here, so this has to be in and out.
Well, this is a process. Like I think they're voting right now. So once they're done with their vote, it's
And come get
finalized
us,
one
yeah.
way or the other.
Lower the barrier, we'll have to figure out contingency plans to get back in Mistrala from there, but we can do that at a later time.
Okay. So you guys are outside. So Euphemia, Deimos, and Renly, you guys are hanging around inside Mistrala. The council just kicked you out, and you have no idea how long it'll take them to come to a decision. But you're hanging around when all of a sudden you hear a bit of a commotion, and in front of you, Renly, you recognize a Minotaur specifically, but a Minotaur faculty member. Not necessarily faculty member. He's more like an officer in the town. He has very close ties to the university. His name is Ferdinand.
Oh, he looks so awesome.
So he is a Minotaur sorcerer. He just kind of like, you hear him coming through the crowd, or just barreling through. Excuse me, pardon me, coming through here. He comes up. Renly,
Yes.
you're the one with the strangers, the visitors from outside, correct?
Yes.
He says, there's been a bit of a commotion at the border. One has come up and has claimed to know them and to be part of them.
Wait, who would this be?
He says, oh, this fellow here. And he kind of waves his hand, and you can see in the fire a picture of, well, I guess he's here, Ashok. And just like a
I
flame
turn to
version of his
Euphemius
face.
and Euphemia. Do you know this individual?
Nope.
I was gonna say no too.
As I thought, he's an intruder and a deceiver.
Sounds like it.
Very well. We will banish him to hellfire. He's-
No,
Good
he's
job.
an archer. Just let him in.
Wait,
We
what?
know him.
Oh, that was a joke. Oh, okay. I forgive my friends. They have very poor taste and humor. But good job on protecting our borders.
He looks back. He says, "A jest, you say? Very funny." He turns around and he says, "I shall return quickly."
Perhaps we can enjoy drinks later.
He says, "Probably not." And he turns around and leaves. Okay, Ashok, you there? Can't hear you if you type if you are saying something. because I cannot hear you at this moment.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, are you there? Okay.
Yep, it works.
All right. Hopefully we get it better for next week. Try to get it better for next week,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah, I gotta find that transmitter. I'm not quite sure where it's at. It might be in North Dakota.
All right. I mean, microphones, the USB microphones are pretty cheap. You can pick one up at Walmart or Best Buy for like $10 or something.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. So you have been. The last time you played with the party was right after your encounter with the Were-Tarask. Or it was actually the session before, but your character was there when they encountered the Were-Tarask in Vortum. So I'm going to retcon a little bit of the story here. So it's kind of tidy things up a bit. So this is where you guys were. This is some 15 sessions ago or something like that. You guys were in Vortum. Inkamel had just showed up. Feldorn ate the Black Lotus. Inkamel goes berserk, right? And everyone just teleports out like crazy. Okay? You did not teleport out with them. You had been crafty and using your ranger skills. You decided not to go, and you fled. You fled north. Can you hear? If you can hear, that's fine. Damn it. His phone, like, battery died or something?
It sounds like it crashed or something. Or maybe the battery, yeah.
Alright, whatever. Okay,
Awesome.
so you were in Vortum when Inkamel attacked. But you had been planning anyway to kind of leave the party. You actually... We'll just say that before the attack happened, you had already ventured north. You're going north to Sindalar. Because you had heard that the country was destroyed. You had visited it slightly when you guys were encountering the lycanthropes. But you really wanted to find your people. Your clan. Because your roots were in Sindalar. You grew up there, your childhood home. In your former life, you had that story where your father and you had to be rescued. And you swore yourself to... what's that archer god? Gwaran Windstrom. But in the years since then, you had taken an affinity to your people there, and the humans in Sindalar had grown into a fairly respected clan, and had grown close ties to the forest elves, the wood elves there. Anyway, you were very greatly concerned for your people, and you headed north to Sindalar to find your people, to and to find any pockets of resistance, anyone still alive there. You traveled and you searched for weeks, and you tracked down various pockets of elven survivors, but you were not able to find evidence of your clan or your family along the way. You did, however, manage to, along the way, evade leapers for the most part. They were sparse, though, just a handful here and there. You managed to kill one through some cunning. And then, knowing that your party was heading to Mistrala next, you began the long journey this way to Mistrala. You crossed the Grey Peaks, you went through Oscaria, and you found it a curious land. Just being a ranger, you kept to yourself. You lived off the land, but you did encounter a few rangers in Oscaria, a few leapers in Oscaria. You managed to kill another there, and you had a various series of small adventures along the way. Bedded a couple female elves along the way, of course, as Ashok is prone to do. And you made your way to Mistrala, having only learned that Oscaria and Sindalar are actually, as of now, fairly free of leapers. It's like whatever large population of them was there and had wreaked havoc, destroying a whole nation, and was terrorizing the High Elves themselves. They're all gone now. Okay? If you have you leveled up your character yet? Yes, you have. I don't know if you. So, just for the sake of argument here, your bow, your legacy weapon, had been upgraded to level 2 a while ago. But since you've left, there's been a little bit of a change, a little bit of I patched the system basically, an upgrade patch. So tier 2 is much stronger than it was when you first upgraded your weapon. So I have updated your weapon. You might want to read it, but it is quite a bit more powerful than the last time you saw it. I'm going to link it here. So you're going to have to get used to that. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me.
Holy shit.
But that is your new bow. Alright, so you come charging out of the mountains that border Mistrala, so right about here. Quite the accomplished and seasoned adventurer. You've slain some great beasts. You've accomplished great deeds of daring. Like I said, you've bedded some fair maidens, and now you are rejoining with your party in Mistrala, stronger, and ready to jump back into the fray. All right.
I kind of like this new tier 2 patch.
We all do.
I just gotta get a legacy weapon first.
Yeah, well. Wait till you see what you guys are fighting next.
Oh my god. Upgrade even for the
Trash.
hostiles.
You're going to Mistrala to meet with your friends. Because you knew that they were going to be there. That was their next destination point. So you're going there to rejoin with the party. Okay? Alright, so Ashok pops in. Since he can't speak, we'll say that there are pleasantries exchanged, great stories passed back and forth. Ashok, how do you look different? Describe, just type it in chat. One significant thing that looks different about you from the last time they saw you. And the rest of you regale him with your stories of slaying, of fleeing the Werterask, and then being taunted by Clovis, and then finally coming to Mistrala, killing him, and how you've elevated Princess Akelia to take the place and manage the portfolio of the goddess of magic herself, Mistra. Alright, he has scars too.
Where is that that Minotaur? This is definitely not that guy we thought he was.
Hipster Ranger TM.
Who? What? Where? I missed that. What are you talking about?
She's making another joke that because Ashok has scars, he's not the guy that he thought he was.
Oh yeah. He's a bit more rugged and I don't know if you guys don't watch anime, do you?
He sounds competent.
Indeed, we do watch anime.
You watch One Piece? You
Yes.
know One Piece?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah?
No.
So you know how after the big battle where Whitebeard dies, and then there's a 2-year gap, and they all come back and they're like more
Yes.
grown up, and like Luffy has this big scar on his chest, and they're all older and sexier and that kind of stuff. That's what Ashok is like.
So you're saying he's a rubber boy?
Yeah.
That's all I know about One Piece.
By the way, I love-
Like,
Pretty fucking
100%.
By the way, I love One Piece so hard.
Oh, One
I
Piece
felt
is my
betrayed
shit.
after a certain person died.
So hard.
I was like, why
so
would you
mad.
kill his brother?
No.
Last weekend, they have not put a new episode out, so I'm pissed about
Okay,
that.
no spoilers, okay? Because I'm. Well, actually, I'm current. I'm current with the manga.
Yeah, this is long time back.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna geek out a second here, out of character. Renly. So I don't know if you followed this game, but one of the first big adventures they had was with the pirates, right? Of Borthol.
Oh, yeah.
And the 7 pirate lords, and they had to fight the 3 admirals of Waterdeep. All that was totally just like I ripped off a bunch of One Piece, basically archetypes, and yeah, and the guy that kind of like is still out there and has been haunting you all. You guys remember him? And Terry's the guy with the gun. This dude, right?
He was a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, trying to shoot me in the head.
He's basically Mihawk from One Piece. That's who I always envisioned him being. You know, the guy with the sword who cuts the ship in half.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That's him. So that's why he travels around on a little boat, because
Well,
that's what
Mihawk got
Mihawk.
an upgrade with that picture.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's me geeking out here. Yeah, One Piece was my inspiration for that story arc. Anyway,
It was so good.
Ashok, you come back, you rejoin, you all get caught up, you spend a large chunk of the rest of the day. Yes, Ashok, he runs on air. Doesn't actually fly, he runs on the air. And catching up, and Ashok eventually asks, where's Elwyn? You know, and Feldorn. And you guys like, oh shit, they're not back yet.
They went shopping. They did not respond. Well, they can't respond, but I thought they'd be back by now.
Okay.
Probably did.
We should go check up on them once they're done with the council. Wait, it might take them a while for the council. This is sort of like electing another figurehead. We're in a different world. You know, you have to wait for smoke in a chimney.
She says,
But
oh, Renly, you wish to, and she had come out and she's been hanging out with you. She says, you wish to seek out your friends, to see them? Why not simply go to the
Yes.
observation deck?
oh, I forgot about. Oh, thank you, Ava. I hug her calf. Okay, I will go and check it out.
Yes. It would be a simple matter to see what they are up to.
Could you win speak if they're done with the council voting at any point? If God forbid they finish it right now, but yeah.
Of course,
Well,
of course.
come on, let's check it out.
Okay.
Out of game. What is the observation deck?
So remember when you guys went up the spire, the first level that you passed through, on the other side of the barrier, was this big open platform.
Mm-hmm.
You could see for miles and miles around. That's the observation deck. There's powerful seeing magics there.
Ah, perfect.
It's basically how the wizards and the academics of Mistra just basically spied on the rest of the world and just
Now
observed.
it includes voice, or is it just visual?
It's visual.
Okay.
You can, let me see here. Yeah, you can. There's select. It's very specific in the powers of the observation deck. So when you get there, you can observe it. You get to
Okay,
see.
awesome.
Alright.
That totally works. Once we get there, I will win speak to Albrecht and tell him to respond by writing something, because right now we can see him.
Alright, so you guys go up to the observation deck, and as I said before, it's this open platform, and you can see all around, and much further than you should normally be able to see. It's like looking at, as being at the top of a skyscraper, right? And you can see far, far, but even further than is humanly, or than is natural. And you find a kindly old elf there, half elf, and he says, "Oh, well, Renly, welcome to the observation deck. It's good to see you. You have not been here in quite a while. Do you remember how it all works?"
Not really. In fact, we went through here, but we were so busy I didn't even get to introduce my friends to it. Perhaps you can do the honors.
Oh, it's been a long time, ever since Eron raised the barrier. This place had fallen into a bit of disrepair. I've been laboring constantly over the past week and a half, 10 days, to get it functional again. And I am proud to announce that it is indeed operational fully. Well, you cannot hear anything, but just see things. But, of course, I will try to fix that.
Seeing will suffice for now. Thank you so much.
You know how it works. You must know the name of what you wish to see.
I turn towards Deimos and Euphemia and Ashok and go, well, Alberic and Elwyn don't use code names, right? They don't have true names we have to use instead. Like, this is their actual name, right? I worry now.
The real names are Beavis and Butthead.
That I believe.
Alright.
I will try. Let's see. We will call out their names. I leave that up to Deimos and Euphemia to call out their names.
Okay.
And see if we can get it thing.
Okay. Standing there in this observation deck where you can see, clear landscape in front of you. You can see for miles, and looking down, it's like I said, being at the top of a skyscraper. You can see individual people all around you and on the ground level. You can see the foot of the spire pretty clearly. Euphemia, you say the name Elwyn, and your thoughts kind of connect to the powerful enchantments built into this deck of the Silver Spire, and the vision, the scene in front of you changes and shifts and accelerates, and you see your eyesight just great. It's a highly modified scrying spell, basically like the ultimate form of scrying, and you just leap across hundreds of miles and entire countries, and your vision lands at Hasselin, and everyone around you can see it as well. Basically, like the whole observation deck shifts as you activate it. And you can see Alberic and Elwyn and Feldorn just hanging out in your mansion area. It's later in the evening now. It's around 6 p.m. Alberic, you've already talked to Molter Bennot. You found out that you guys cannot teleport back, and you're just kind of like clueless about what to do.
Now, I could try to wind speak them, but it takes about 10 miles per minute for it to travel. Do y'all have, like, sending or something else that's faster?
Do we both have the notes? The scrying paper notes?
Or we can wait an hour, and then we can just watch them for an hour. I can get some brownies in the meantime.
What do you guys want to do?
I guess we should just start murdering.
I could send a message to the king and ask him to send them a message.
Okay. All right.
I'm asking them. You guys want to do that?
Sure.
We can bother the king. I'm sure he's not doing anything. You know.
I'll send a wind
So,
speak, telling them that, like, we can see you. Write down anything you want to communicate because we cannot hear any audio. But in the meantime, if this works out, this will be better. So keep going and contact the king.
That's not what I meant.
Yeah, so you use your sending stone, Euphemia, to write to the king? What are you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to ask him to inform our friends to write a message on the ground, communicate with us. Or, what do you guys want? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
So sending only works once a day, I think, the sending stone.
Yeah, I know. I only got one message.
Yeah. Alberic, are you there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Yeah, what do you guys want to do?
Yeah, I'll just...
Yeah, I think writing down my message to them so that they can see it, because they can see what I'm doing, is a good idea.
I'll
I
just-
just have no
I'll use the
input on
sending...
it.
Well, I'll just use the sending stone to tell them to send a message to... Ask the king to send a page to give them a message of why they haven't... just to write down on the floor why they haven't come back.
Okay.
Well, we already know that, don't we?
Renly knows that they can't teleport back. So yeah, you do.
So what's the point of that? We already
I-
know what they're doing. They're just being stupid.
No, we need to know, like, what exactly is holding them up and why they haven't returned
can't come
to
back.
the border.
You know that.
No, they can return to the border and then they can
No, they
just walk
can't.
through.
He only has a knife on the
Outside.
inside of the border. He can't go to the outside. In other words, they can get like 4 or 5 days travel away, close as best. They can't get near the border.
Wait, they can get to the border but not inside the border, right?
Yeah, they can get to the outside. They can teleport to the
Yeah.
outside of Mistrala.
Does
It-
not have a knife of familiarity
Yeah.
outside the border.
Yeah, Elwyn has the limits.
And that's something that Renly has no idea about. So this
And
is
I
something
would,
that
I'm telling Renly that right now. Because I know Elwyn's teleporting thing, because we talk about the teleporting thing all the time. his limitations won't let him inside the border.
So, what you're telling me is that they cannot actually get to Mistral anymore because they don't have a point of reference near the border anymore.
Yes,
Like,
because someone didn't tell them that they couldn't teleport back.
But we did that. What I remember happening last week is we set a knife on the outside of the border. I thought we cleared that, but
I thought I wind-walked them. I wind-walked them over to the border, right? I cast wind-walk on them so they could go to the border.
The border
and then
of
teleport
Mistrala?
there.
Or the border
Yeah.
of the Spire?
I thought we
It would have taken
the border.
No,
it would have
no.
taken them a day or two to get to the border of Mistrala.
I think
A wind-walk is a mile a minute, so based on the scale, I thought it would take them like an hour to get there, because there'd be 100 miles travel, no more than that, within an hour. No,
I
60
honestly
miles.
thought that we were talking about outside the city, not outside the country.
Yeah, I didn't think you were going
Well,
outside
I
the
think-
country.
Yeah.
Oh no, I thought it
that's
was
where the
outside the country.
No.
What's the
Oh.
scale of the map then? Because windwalk's a mile a minute, so I wasn't sure what the scale was. Whether it would take longer than that. But 60 miles an hour. So I figured they'd windwalk and then teleport out and then come back in.
Okay, well, if that's what you guys did,
That's what I
Then-
basically told them. But sorry.
okay, yeah, if you went to the outside of the border of the whole country, then yeah, that'll work. It would have taken you by wind walk. It would have taken you, a good hour and change to get there. But
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought we did as well. So just teleport to the outside of the border and wait for what's her face? Forgot
Okay.
your name.
So-
Renly to come get us
Alright.
by windwalk.
all right,
Yep.
so are you going back now or are you going back later?
As soon as we were done with the king.
Okay. All right. So you guys teleport back to the border of Mistrala, and Renly,
wait for us to
when you
figure out.
Renly, when you cast, or when you guys have the observation deck and you cast the vision thing, you see them outside the edge of the border, just kind of like waiting for you.
Alrighty, shall we go pick them up?
You will.
Sure. Okay. If you hear anything about the council, wind speak over. I give you a thumbs up.
What? I can't win speak.
No. Get teleforce or somebody to do it.
Wouldn't
I'm
that
sure
be
they'll be
whirlwind
willing.
speak?
Okay, so Renly, you head out to go get them.
Will do.
All right, so it's gonna take you about an
That,
hour.
that'll take about
a
2
little-
hours.
I
Turn back.
transport via trees over to the border. I would have found a large tree at some point during my time here,
Mhm.
and then I would find them, and we wind walk back. I
Yeah,
cast
it'll take a
wind
little
walk
over an
on all
hour.
of us.
For you to get
Perfect.
back. All right. So Deimos, Euphemia, and Ashok, you're on the observation deck, and Ava's there too. She says, "Well, that was interesting. Is there anything else you care to observe while you're here? This
Well, I want to look at where maybe that gate's at, and also Waterdeep.
well, very well. We need a name of a specific individual.
Oh, fudge. Deimos does not remember that succubus bastard lady's name. He shall say Whitebeard, though.
All right. Oh, okay. The old half elf there chuckles. He laughs. He says, "Of course, very well." And he activates the enchantment, and your vision shifts. And looking at the map, you spin and you head west towards Tritanos. And as you go there, as you guys cross over into Waterdeep, the skies darken and there's dark clouds over all of Tritanos. And there you see a devastated city with crawling ghouls and aberrations like slithering all around. The city itself in ruins. Every building at least having some great deal of structural damage to it. You see humans and people herded around by the undead, like cattle. You see wights and banshees plaguing the area, and you gather that they've spread all throughout Waterdeep, and that Whitebeard, his influence has overtaken the whole nation. inside, but talking to him, but I mean scrying on him, you zoom into the center of Tritanos, and there in a large courtyard is piled the wealth of Waterdeep. One of the largest and most second only in cultural standing to Ospium. Tritanos was the jewel of the West, basically, of human civilization, rendered completely desolate. And now sitting in this large open courtyard is a pile of all the wealth of Waterdeep, gold, precious gems, forming like a veritable hill of treasure, and seated on the top of it, this massive undead individual, towering and imposing, just looking in a haphazard and almost bored fashion over his own personal domain.
Said we kick his ass.
Okay. Ava, standing next to you, gasps. She's, "Oh dear. I wasn't quite sure what Telephos was saying. I was only merely translating for him. But that is terrible." She says, I wonder if he will be content to be contained within the nation of Waterdeep. Oh dear.
I doubt it.
She says, perhaps one might... She's... just a moment, she says. In my journeys I had an acquaintance, and she speaks out. If you would, I could be so bold. She says the name Tobias, right? Tobias Hefrod. She says, this was a kind person, the purveyor of an inn that I stayed at when I was years ago when I was journeying towards Mistrala. It is in the eastern border of Waterdeep. So she says the name, and you guys basically zoom your vision to here on the map, right? A small town over there, and it zooms in on basically a starved and like ragged looking man, probably in his upper 40s, chained, just roped up with a bunch of other humans, being led by some undead, some ghouls, and there's wights all around also, and banshees. And you guys see there a large population of these aberrations, these let's say they wouldn't be ghouls, I guess that's the wrong word. It's just like necrotic aberrations, these weird creatures and stuff marching through this small town that Ava had asked to see. Okay.
Well, guess we gotta take the Whitebeard sword and stick it into his chest.
What else would you guys like to see?
Is it possible to see in Vortum what's going on right there?
Yeah, say, who would you like to view?
Ah, shit. I don't know if it's possible, but to view, shoot, what's his name? I do not have it in my notes right here. The Trask dude?
Inkamel?
Yeah, Inkamel. Yep.
Okay. You speak the name Inkamel. And Ava gasps. Your vision shifts over. It zooms all the way across the countryside to Cragland. And you as you zoom into Vordum, you see another destroyed city, completely leveled. This great city that was carved out of a mountain is laid waste, and fortunately, you guys had saved a large part of the population, but there's still a great deal of death that went around. And as you gaze there, you see that it wasn't just leapers that had torn the city apart, but there's evidence of a massive battle of incredible power. There's scars in the mountainsides, just like whole sections, um, hundreds of yards worth of stone and rock just completely scorched, as if an incredible battle happened here of powers that you don't even, you guys can't even imagine right now. Um, and in the aftermath of that battle, you look around and you can still see the corpses of thousands of individuals, um, both dwarves and elves. All right, and you guys remember that the leapers, when they are slain, they revert back to their original form. So looking around, you see thousands of dwarves and hundreds of elven corpses all over the place. All right. But your vision shifts a little bit, and you realize that as it moves over to, it hones in on Inkamel. He's not actually in the city. He's on the outskirts, slightly past the city, and you see him there. This do I even have his picture? Yes, I do. A fairly plain-looking human man, hunched over, and surrounded by a handful of elves. Some of them, two of them, you recognize as the elves that came in and parlayed with you when the refugee train came to the city of Vortum. But whereas before, Deimos, you noticed that one of Inkamel's arms, I think it was you, it might have been Feldorn, his left arm was completely like stripped of flesh and muscle and would just be a shriveled up version of an arm, and he seemed to treat it with great pain. Right? You see him there, standing in the middle of an open plateau with elves and leapers around him, and dozens of dwarven captives still alive there being brought to him. And you see a leaper taking a dwarf by the back of the neck, grabbing his head and bringing him up to Inkamel, his face up to Inkamel. And you see Inkamel hold forth his right arm, right? And you see the leaper forcibly take the dwarf's mouth and have him bite into Inkamel's arm and actually tear off a piece of flesh. And the dwarf, completely overpowered, Inkamel just grimaces in the pain that this causes him, but the dwarf collapses down to the ground and begins to shake and seize as his body just trembles, and his form begins to warp and pulsate as he begins to transform, to shift into one of these hideous red scaled monstrosities that the leapers are the leapers. And you look around, and basically you gather that Inkamel is rebuilding his army of leapers, and that in order to do so, for every leaper he creates, they actually have to eat a part of his body, of his flesh, and he's sacrificing his other arm for the creation of this army. This time, an army of dwarven leapers.
Oof.
Okay.
All right. Now, I don't know if this is possible, because we don't really know in Azoa, but we heard some shit was going on there. There's no possible way to scry on this their main city, is it?
You need a name of a person.
Hey, anybody know anybody in who lives in Ozea or Oza?
Azoa.
Azoa. Yeah.
Ava says, she says, I don't know a name, she says, but when I was translating for Telephos, he seemed to at least, you heard him. He said the aged one had reawakened. I'm sure he would know. I was just translating for him. Or perhaps, well, the the other members of the council, they seem to understand. Renly, did you know what he was talking about?
Oh, I wasn't sure if I was here.
Oh no, you're not. You're walking. Never mind. Shit. Never mind. You're fine. No, but she
Cool.
says, I'm sorry, I do not know. And the the dwarf, the elven, the half elf, old guy there says, Aged One. What are you speaking of, Eva? Yes. Oh, she says, perhaps you know, Master Telephos was mentioning that some great and legendary Aged One had awakened in the south. He says, he begins to stroke his stubbly chin. No, could not be. Do you think? And Ava shrugs. She says, I have no knowledge of this. He says, bloody hell. He stands up and he says, Gromash.
Sounds like a bitch. But I'll say
Oh,
that
man.
now.
Okay. And you're Alright, shit. Alright. Your vision shifts right around to here.
Wait, Halfling?
You see. Alright, you guys, I gotta change my music for this.
Ah, damn it.
Halfling
We
and
got some
Autozilla.
like
Oh my god.
Archer, dummy,
Alright.
fucking kick all
You
their
guys
asses
see.
guy.
You guys, your vision shifts, and Ava gasps, and you guys all, your eyes widen as you look, and you guys see yourselves looking over a horde of creatures traveling southward across the plains of the rocky plains here. Hey, she's a stereotypical. Don't be criticizing my NPC character development. Stereotypical young lady.
I'm just saying that every single scene change, it seems she gasped.
Gasping or crying, right?
Well, that's what she did. You left her
Um,
in a fucking like cave to die.
Yeah, she's been traumatized, man.
Yeah, traumatized.
Everything is scary to her. Okay, so you guys are looking over the backs of thousands of creatures, and you look and you see that they're creatures of all different races, but primarily they're orcs. It's like the entire population of Azoa was marching south. But in there, you see a mix of various creatures. You see trolls, you see some goblins, you see beasts, like monstrous creatures, all enslaved and tamed and being controlled, but with bit and bridle, being ridden by packs of where's my thing? Yeah, of various types of creatures, ogres and you see some ettins and stuff along the way. They're all. You even see a very large concentration of dragonborn mixed in there and humans, but like not the good-looking kind. This is like the nasty Mad Max-looking kind of humans.
Ugh.
You know, with like filed teeth and shaved heads and scars all over and painted bodies, that kind of stuff. And they're marching south. You see them broken up into packs. You see different sections with different types of creatures in different areas, and creatures and individuals traveling with them. So they don't look like all haphazard. They look organized and like these broken up into section with various commanders and that kind of thing. And your vision centers on one massive creature, not at the front, but towards the back of the army, traveling along with them. And you recognize that, impossibly so, he looks like related to an orc, almost like an orc, a massive orc. But as you glance him over, you realize that his features are almost like the prototype of an orc, like something that existed before the orcs existed, and that orcs were descended from. Gromash.
This is like, kind of like remind us of shoot, what's his name?
World of Warcraft guy?
Oh, well, that, but also Gimli. Not Gimli. Gosh darn it.
She's just so bad with
dude
names.
Wields of pillars, sorry. Oh, yeah, it's this guy.
You don't remember his name?
No, I can't. Shoot.
It's
Sorry.
Quigley.
Quigley. Way too much work this week.
Roll a perception check.
Oh, it's another one of Quigley's race. The god killer things.
That'd be so cool.
No, he's probably gonna try to kill us.
Deimos,
But he
you
looks
looking
badass.
at him, you realize that there is a distinct resemblance. Maybe not even so much physically, but the aura around him, the way that he carries himself, something about him. It's almost as if they were cut from the same cloth, or more accurately, that Quigley was cut from a cloth from this guy's cloth.
Wait, this guy's bigger?
Oh yeah, much bigger.
Oh, I'm gonna fuck this guy up. I'm gonna tickle him to the ground. Is he ticklish?
We'll just
Is
put him
he?
in a prison thing that totally destroyed.
Like, for serious though, does he look ticklish?
No, he does not look ticklish to you.
I'm gonna tickle the fuck
Okay,
out of him.
so the half elven old man is like he's like trembling, and he drops his little mug of alcoholic beverage that he was sipping on, nursing all day. He says, "Oh, that's not good. Oh shit, balls,
Yes, balls of
fuck,
shit.
tits,
Balls of titties. Ah,
oh, ass."
Titties. Ah, damn it. Yes, assholes.
Lots of ass.
Let's get a chloroform launcher. We'll take him out.
He says, "Do you know what that is?"
I'm pretty sure I know what the fuck that is.
Well, good. That's why I need another drink. Shit, balls, fuck,
I
tits.
open up my bag
ass.
of Kool-Aid and I pull out some tequila and we just sit down. We're just like, shit, balls, donkey titties, shit.
I love
for-
this.
For the rest of us who don't know what that is, and the explanation that we're technically not supposed to hear, but would have heard anyways, can you give us?
It's like a bigger version of Quigley.
He says, that bastard. He says, that's Gromash. He's awakened. It's been thousands of years. Shit, balls, fuck. He says, oh, he said, he rubs his head. Let me remember, if I remember my history. He says, okay, I don't know how much of this shit is true, but the legend, and you have to understand, this is a fucking legend, okay? This is like, before we could write down shit. You could tell he's lost any sense of decorum. He's practically like, he's flipping out. He says, back in the old days, before there was civilization, he says, the gods that lived back then were primal. They were not quite so sophisticated as the gods we have now. He says, they created creatures to battle for them so that they would not slay each other. He says, they called them marked ones. Remember this?
Yep.
He says, and these creatures would battle for them, and they would imbue them with incredible powers, incredible strength, all sorts of hideous, earth-shaking, sky-breaking powers. And they battled and they fought and they warred so that the gods could be amused. He says, and after that era passed, it was not because the gods got bored and stopped. It was because Gromash had slain all the others. He was the victor. He was the uncontested, triumphant one.
There's
But
met one other though.
Well,
No.
that might be the next generation.
he is the only. He says, there are some now in this world, some few, who still carry the bloodline of the marked ones. He says, but
Oh,
none of the true marked ones exist except Gromash. He must have been asleep for thousands of years, with no god to ally himself to anymore, for those gods have passed. No cause, since all his foes had been slain. But if he has been awakened, if he has been spurred on by some otherworldly force now, then this does not bode well. He takes a big
shit.
swig of tequila, he just drains it. He says, it's not the end of it! The shit gets worse, motherfucker!
Oh fuck! He said, "Motherfucker."
Yeah.
Is it Samuel L. Jackson?
He says, his hand's shaking now. He says, if he really is Gromash. You see, when a marked one, the legends say, was triumphant over another marked one and slew him in battle, he gained power over him and over his very essence. This creature, he points out the window. He says, will have power over the descendants of the marked ones today.
Cool.
so
Now, how cool do you
if
think
he
you'd be
eats quickly-
against a were-trask?
He says, fuck if I know. Trask is like mind-blowing shit.
Oh, this guy's only like ass-blown shit?
This ass-blowing shit. And
Oh,
tits.
shit. Oh, damn it. That's pretty high up there.
And big balls.
Oh, damn it. Now don't add the big balls, and then I was getting scary.
But someone say Bahamut so they can figure out where the dragons are.
Damos is thinking, like, oh, he'll say that next, but Damos is
Oh,
like,
God.
he pulls out his calculator, and he thinks of just, like, how big Tempest's smile would be if he gives Tempest this guy's head. Be a big smile. He followed the linear curve. Alright, we'll ask for Bahamut. We'll get sent to Chocobo Land of Final Fantasy VII.
The guy says, Bahamut? He laughs. He says, he kind of like shakes out. He says, it does not work that way. He says, you're limited to seeing what is on this plane of existence.
Oh, shit. Does Deimos know what his dad's name is?
Your dad's name?
Yeah. What's the top god? Deimos is totally man. I'm just joking. Yeah, so let's fuck shit up, guys.
Oh, does anything happen with when he says Bahamut in case Bahamut is on this plane of existence?
Yeah, the wind and the vision all around you goes blue, and words flash across the screen that says "File not found."
Do we know the name of any other dragons
Oh,
I don't know. Do you know the name of any dragons?
besides Light?
Elwyn does. Elwyn's got a couple, but Deimos does not. He's never been told them.
Elwyn is not here.
Yeah.
Back up to the observation deck next week when we do have Owen here.
That sounds good.
Deimos wants
Oh
to,
great,
like...
oh great God, Midas.
Guys can try to do whatever you want.
Oh,
Deimos
I
wants to
am.
make his fist be able to absorb souls now. He's gonna absorb these nameless, whatever, marked one souls. Become even more marked.
I was wondering how a spell interacts with the observation deck right now, in the sense that transport via trees needs friendly to have seen a large tree at least once to transport through it. So if someone calls a name out and there is a large tree behind them, can she then use a tree in Mistrala to transport directly to them?
Sure.
Because she has seen the tree technically, so that way if y'all need to go somewhere, we can go there directly.
Sure.
Yay!
All right. What you guys want to do?
I think we're done on the observation deck except for when Ellen gets here, because I do want to see if he can find dragons that he has.
I want to ask them if either of them have ever seen like what's it called, the moonless sun, or a noon moon, or what do you call it? Fuck. What did you call it?
It's in your freaking weapon.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. A noonday moon.
Roll a d20.
Yeah.
I gotta give this guy a name. What's his name? Um. So this half-elven guy. He says. Sorry, don't quite know what you're talking about, but, that's not surprising, astronomy and the star stuff was never part of my expertise. Noonday moon. And then you hear a kind of like a voice just kind of echo from across the room. Ah! Noonday moon! And kind of just like bobbing across the platform. You ask for noonday moon, he says, commonly known in the vernacular as a total eclipse of the sun. Rarest of occurrences. In fact, some say it is not even naturally possible with the way the alignment of the moon and the lunar orbits, but has been recorded only once in history. My suspicion is that it is caused by some being of great power. Yes.
You don't know what that being is?
Something that can eclipse the sun. Noonday moon.
So, you think something else is eclipsing the sun on purpose?
'Tis the theory. Something in the past. As I said, one recorded observance many thousands of years ago, deep in the archives of Mistala. Of course. I read it. I have it here on my back.
Euphemia, don't you remember that someone told us that the dragons know what a noonday moon is? I can't remember if it was.
Yeah, but that was like 50 games ago.
Dragons? He scratches his chin. Yes? Could be
How'd
dragons.
you hear that voice? He's like in another land.
Oh, shit. That's right. Shut up.
I'm a terrible metagamer. I apologize, but
No, it's...
I'm randomly just thinking, yeah, some dragon told, or a god told me that dragons would know how to find a noonday moon.
Dragons? He rubs his chin. He says, dragons would have been there. Dragons could have been at the source. Interesting theory. I will consult the stars. And he waves his hand and looks up, just kind of like vacant expression up to the sky.
Your books ever give any names of any dragons?
He says, Or I am not a studier of beasts. I study the stars. And he points up to the sky again. His eyes just going vacantly as they wander upwards. Well, of course, there's a ceiling here, but you can tell he's thinking about something else.
on a quick side note, Midas, you have the best NPCs.
I know, right? Oh my god, I love them.
I mean, everyone from Pablo to our dwarf friend to the the guy with a bunch of books on his back. I just hands down the best NPCs.
Well, good. I'm glad you like them.
But homebrew game I've ever played in, but I can't imagine them getting much better than this.
Well, they're good. And they're all made up on the spot. I never even planned for this guy to talk, but do you guys want to do?
Partly makes them the best. So
All right, so it's been about an hour. Around this point, Albric, Elwyn, Feldorn, Renly, you would be rejoining with the rest of the group.
Wee.
At this point, yeah. So you got the rest of them enter, and Tycho he's sitting there, vacant expression across his face, thinking about the stars, humming to himself, just his head nodding back and forth, and then his eyes just pop open. He's like, "It's time, time!" Right, and he kind of hops back and forth on his feet. He says, "They're coming, they're coming." He's a big smile on his face.
Oh my god, I love him.
He says, "The council." Right. So then, Ava pops into the room. She says, Euphemia, milady, and Master Renly, Sia Kotinin and Master Telephos have asked me to request your presence.
Sounds good. Coming right up.
And of course, you, Master Tycho, you should be there as well. And he's hopping back and forth. Okay, they lead you back to the spire.
if he's hopping with that bag of books on his back, he actually must have a ridiculous amount of strength.
It's a very, very subtle kind of like penguin hop. You know, like just bobbing from one foot to the other.
Well, still, I think still has a ridiculous amount of strength. How many books he's got on his back?
He's a
Like
dwarf.
at least an 18. Like at least an 18.
Yes.
Yeah, probably. Okay, you guys get back to... Yeah, it's because he carries books on his back all day. Okay, so you guys get back to the council room. And people have already begun to regather there. And you get there and you see a familiar assortment of faces. Sir Kotinin is there. Tycho is walking along with you. Telephos is already there. The group is sitting around, the council members are sitting around on the chairs. Even in the corner, you see Rumen just brooding darkly in the background. You can tell he's just pissed off at the world.
Which one was that again?
Rumen?
Yeah.
This dude.
So does he have a I've lost pissed off move look on him?
Roll insight. Ashok, your friend Pablo, he does chimichangas, but he branched off into a side business. He also makes tequila. You know, he makes the chimichangas, and also I brew the tequila, you know, man.
Why do I still have disadvantage?
You didn't get it. Did you get a long rest last night? I guess you would have gotten a long rest. Okay, let me take off the last bits of exhaustion from you guys. Feldorn does not get it removed. Okay, Euphemia, you just get a general sense of pissed offness. You're not sure why he's pissed off, but he's obviously not happy. Okay, after a few minutes of hustling and bustling, the murmur in the room goes down to a gentle hush, as one of the wizards just kind of like stamps his staff. He says, "Order! Order!" He says, "After great deliberation, and after 3 tied votes, in which we would, of course, by policy and procedure, cast a revote, the council has come to a decision." Kotinin stands up and says, "Oh, friends," he says, "fellow academics and purveyors of the arcane arts, you know who I am. I am... He scratches his chin a little bit.
Kotinin!
"Oh, yes, I am Sir Kotinin." former headmaster of this place, and now esteemed member of the council. He says, and in my days as headmaster, I had the great privilege of overseeing a number of advances in the academics and in our studies. I take credit for much of it, of course. He says, but now I am even more proud to announce to you that more change is coming. The Council of Mistrala has decided and has voted by decision of 7-5 vote that there will be a new order. There will no longer be a position of headmaster. Instead, there shall be a council, a small triad of individuals who specialize in certain areas and who will have within their purview responsibilities equal to their skills, to their passions. And they, as a whole, shall decide amongst themselves the fate of our nation. I introduce to you the first of the three. Come forth, great instructor Velisa. There's clapping and there's a polite awe and there's a rustle of conversation as when Lisa steps forward, and she nods her head and she kind of speaks forth. She says, "My gratitude. I swear to serve the people of Mistrala in whatever capacity I am needed in." Very good, very good, Kotinin says. Yes. And next, next, what was I doing? He kind of like glances around at his feet. He says, "Have anybody got a cup of tea?"
Gordon and the Triad.
Yes.
Yes, I will have tea later.
Yes. Oh, yes, the triad, of course, of course. Yes. Second of the three, he who we will entrust with perhaps the greatest responsibility, that of defending our nation, that of bringing forth our views of peace and culture and knowledge to the rest of this land and preserving it. He who will be our right hand, Battle Master Telephos. There's more oohing and there's eyeing and people, and you hear a smattering of applause across the hallway. That kind
I
of thing.
cheer and bang my staff.
Of course, very good. Yes. And finally, in a very odd and unprecedented and perhaps foolish venture, he says, the council has decided to elect a third representative who will be our voice of change, our voice of creativity, of seeing beyond the bounds of tradition. Renly, you swear for an instant that he glances your way, and you catch the briefest of winks. He says, I introduce to you instructor of the druidic arts, Renly.
What?
And I think that's where we'll call it for tonight.
What? WTF! WTF!
So next week, you guys have seen several crazy things from the observation deck. First of all, Whitebeard's horde of necrotic aberrations are beginning to spill over his outside of his borders. He's growing bored inside Waterdeep. Gromash is on the move. He is right now marching with his army of subdued Azoans, ravenous, soulless, destructive creatures, moving southward towards Westvane. And with him, he brings at least the power over the descendants of the Marked Ones. To the east, Inkamel is rebuilding his army of Leapers. And to the north, in an impenetrable veil of silence, is, at least impenetrable because you haven't looked yet, is something crazy happening to the north. Okay?
Alrighty.
Alright, so we will figure out what happens next, think about what your characters want to do, and we will be here, same time, same place next week. And Renly, you are now, we need to come up with a proper title for you.
Oh my god.
Renly, one of the three, maybe one of three.
You should never leave Australia again.
Dean of Academic Diversity.
Okay.
College spin on it.
Alright, so I'll catch you guys next week. Thank you for playing, and there are lots of fights coming soon, I'm pretty sure. So, thanks.
You can tell.
We have a single thing this week.
No, there's no fighting this week, which is okay. I don't mind pure role playing.
Wasn't last week either.
Neither
I
did
love role playing, but yes, how many world bosses is that? Like one in each country?
You got the world is descending into chaos. I mean, it's not getting better.
Technical bosses, we've actually only got 2 left. Like
Definitely Noah.
big bosses. We've got 3 left with Asmodeus and the 2 leftover horsemen. Got, or not mini bosses, but regular sized bosses. There's Whitebeard and now Gromash.
So Gromash, so just so you guys know, Clovis was in the business. He never really did much himself personally. He always brought up creatures and put them places to do his dirty work for him. The only thing he did himself was kill Mistra, and that was his end game plan that he had mentioned to you guys before. You guys saw 4 crystals, four broken shards of glass, and there were 4 of them. One was for the admiral that you fought at the beginning. The second one was for the blood demon in Vordum. The third one you saw to the north, on an individual marching across Nortan, and the fourth one you saw in Azoa. Gromash wasn't necessarily a demon, but Clovis had managed to awaken him and was communicating with him. Now, however, with Clovis dead, Gromash didn't have orders, so you figure didn't have any ongoing plans or anything, but you figure that he's following the commands of something else. Something else has supplanted Clovis as far as ordering Gromash around, and Gromash is beating to a different drum right now.
Probably Asmodeus.
Or
You
someone
would like
else.
to hope so, but the problem is that I'm thinking you have something else up your sleeve, and that is going to consume everything else evil. Because it's head evil.
Someone else that you would have angered greatly in your recent actions.
Oh boy.
I did mention him once, a couple sessions ago, so. Alright.
Midas, did you understand what I was wanting out of the Defender Sword?
Nah, I wasn't really paying attention. Because I knew she wasn't going to be able to do it for you. If you want to write it up or something like that, email it to me and I'll see if I can
Gonna be able
work
to
it in.
do it at all, or is she just gonna do it this session?
I just want to. I don't know what it is. She's not gonna be able to do it. She's gone already. She left.
Yeah, but when she resettles, if she can do it in Male Feldorn.
Well, if you guys can find her, and if that actually happens, then we'll talk then.
Email you what I was thinking.
Yep.
I'll Fantasy Ground message you, actually.
That'll work. All right. Congratulations, Renly. You are now a ruler of a country.
Thank you. Oh my god.
What do you put it?
The
That way.
opposite of what she wants.
Ashok, thanks for joining again. Hope you get your mic fixed.
Hope you're back next week.
Yep. Catch you
Yeah.
guys next week.
See ya, see ya.
All right.